welcome to BookMob episode 77. Today I'm going to be talking about 10 great books that are coming up between now or in October all the way through to late 2026. Now, I went through a lot of the publishing houses and I looked through these. So these are books I have not read because they haven't yet been released or published. So I went through there are thousands of books coming out every year. So it's very, very difficult to find, to know exactly what a book is going to be like. So you have to gauge it on things like the synopsis, the cover, the writer, previous books. So it's always a challenge to actually pick 10 books or any book. But in this case, I'm picking 10 books that I think are going to be bangers in the next year or so. So most of the books come out October, no, December, and then February, and then some as late as I think August next year. But anyway, so I went through a lot of publishing houses, looked at a lot of books, and I found, I wanted to find 10 books that I think that, one that I think that I would enjoy, and hopefully books that I think would bring you some joy yourselves, probably from writers that you haven't heard, because there's a couple of books with writers I haven't heard here, and like anything else, it's a risk, it's a gamble. You buy the book and you may not like it, but at the end of the day, you've got to go on how you feel. And because I've read a lot of books, I just have a feel for, it's, obviously when I say I have a feel, I don't have a feel for what's good or what's great. I have a feel what is good and what is great for me. And hopefully I can impart some of that knowledge to you guys. All right, so the first book that I'm really excited about, and this book will be coming out in March 3rd to 26. And that is by Benjamin Myers, and it's a book called Jesus Christ Kinski. Now, on the cover is a great cover. If you can see over here, one of the two, you can see that the cover is Klaus Kinski, who was a very well-known sort of, I wouldn't say a B-grade actor, but I guess in America he was a B-grade actor, but he made some Fitzcarraldo was one of the great films that he made with Werner Herzog. And Aguirre, Wrath of God was another one. He made one about the soldier. I can't remember the name, but Klaus Kinski was quite a mad, passionate individual. And from the stuff that I've read about him from when I was younger, I kind of admired him because he was a bit of a maverick. He was a bit of a buffoon, sort of lunatic. He's the father of Natasha Kinski, the famous Hollywood actress. But anyway, this book is called Jesus Christ Kinski, and it's a novel about a time in Germany in 1971 in Berlin when Klaus Kinski returned to the stage, and he created a sort of a drama with what he was doing on stage, and then the book is written about that taking place 50 years later. It says here, a hypochondriac writer, housebound by winter snowstorms, becomes fixated with the video footage of Kinski at his most maniac. So that sounds pretty bizarre. That's Jesus Christ Kinski by Benjamin Myers, March 3rd, 2026. The second book is a collection of short stories by one of my favorite writers, Salman Rushdie, and that's called The 11th Hour. And that comes out December 6, 2025. So that's a couple of months away. It's basically short stories by Rushdie. And I guess this must be his second or his third book since he had he was attacked, unfortunately, and stabbed in the eye and lost an eye in that attack, that terrorist attack that took part about 2 or 3 years ago. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be something to be well read. Now, the next one is called Remain by Nicholas Sparks. And Remain by Nicholas Sparks, and also by M. Night Shyamalan, the film director. The guy made Sixth Sense, and I can't think, you know who M is. And I'm actually not sure, because when I tried to look up about it, I wasn't sure if the ideas were M. Night Shyamalan's or he did the writing, or did any of the writing. But anyway, that's going to be released in October 14 in 2025, and that's what, next week or the week after. And basically, it says here on the blurb, it's a one-of-a-kind novel that grapples with the supernatural mysteries of life, death, and the human connection. So probably going down some well-known Shyamalan motifs, but I just thought that would be an interesting book because it is obviously written by someone else, Nicholas Sparks, the author, and then Shyamalan has come along come along and putting his 2 cents worth. So that's Remain by Nicholas Sparks and M. Night Shyamalan, coming out October 14, 2025. Next book, King Sorrow by Joe Hill. What a great writer. I've just read, I'm in the middle of reading Horns by Joe Hill right now. And I finished 3 other novels by Joe Hill in the last week and a half. And Fireman was such a great novel, was such a bizarre, weird story. So King Sorrow, on the blurb it says, a dreamer, Arthur Oakes, is a student at Rackham College, Maine, renowned for frosty winters and beautiful buildings. But his idyll and romance with Gwen Underfoot is shattered by local drug dealers force him into a terrible crime, stealing rare and valuable books, which is a great idea, from the exceptional college library. So that's Joe Hill, King Sorrow, October 21, 2025. So by the end of the month, I should have that in my nice little hands. That's great. The next book is Eradication, a Fable by Jonathan Miles. And it's basically a black comic literary gem in which a broken man confronts a broken world on a remote Pacific island, and that comes out in February 2026. And I look at this book and I don't really know the writer, but I kind of like the cover and I kind of like the idea of the way in the blurb saying about he's on a remote Pacific Island, so that should be an interesting read. Then we have The Forest on the Edge of Time by Jasmine Kilbride, and that's also coming out February 2026. And someone is recruited by mysterious Project Kairos to change history and save the future from ecological disaster. Echo and Hazel are transported through time to opposite ends, to opposite worlds. Echo works as a healer's assistant in ancient Athens, embroiled in dangerous politics and wild philosophy. Hazel is the last human alive in a lab on a polluted island with nothing but tiny robots and an untrustworthy AI for company. So that sounds like a real fascinating, interesting read. And that is The Forest on the Edge of Time by Jasmine Kilbride, coming out February 2026. And the next one is After the Fall by Edward Ashton, and that comes out as well February 2026. Part alien invasion story, part buddy comedy, and part workplace satire. After the Fall, this is the same author who wrote Mickey 7. I saw the film Mickey 7. I haven't read the book, but the film was, I thought the film was great. Even though it got panned, I thought it was a great film, great idea. Okay, in this book, After the Fall, this book asks important questions. Would humans really make great pets? Ooh. Humans must be silent. Humans must be obedient. Humans must be good. This is when aliens take over the planet and basically humans are at the whim of these aliens. So that sounds like another great idea. So it's After the Fall by Edward Ashton, February 2026. The Island by Richard Price. This novel is about the end of the world, or at least somebody thinks it's the end of the world. And it's a story of how one man tries to deal with it, which is a good idea, and one very querulous little girl and his wife and his past and his future too, if there is indeed one, on a desperate drive across London. So that's The Island by Richard Price on April 21st, 2026. And it's a novel about the end of the world, or it might not be. That's very good. Okay, then we've got a book called Massive by Gareth Nix. And that's due not until 17th September 2026. And this is the speculative fiction. Comes into his foray into an adult science fiction with a brilliant and poignant story of sentient starships, galactic warfare, and the bonds a crew forms in the cold black hole of space. They are called Massives, and they have changed the course of humanity forever. So science fiction about the future, sounds good, can't wait. Massive by Gareth Nix, 17th September 2026. Sounds great. And the last book, one of my favourites, is Con Igalden's Inferno, which is book 3 in the Nero trilogy. And so basically, if you've read Con Igalden's historical Roman books, this one is a real banger because I've read the first 2 and I can't wait to find out what happens. Well, I mean, I know what happens historically to Nero and I know what he did to his mother, but I guess the book now will be the sort of description of how his rise and his ultimate fall comes about. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be released May 2026, May 22nd in 2026. Okay, so that's it for today. It was just those 10 BookMob choices, great books to come in 2025 and 2026. So we've got Jesus Christ Kinski by Benjamin Myers, The 11th Hour by Salman Rushdie, Remain by Nicholas Sparks and M. Night Shyamalan, King Sorrow by Joe Hill, Eradication by Jonathan Miles, The Forest on the Edge of Time by Jasmine Kilbride, After the Fall by Edward Ashton, The Island by Richard Price, Massive by Gareth Nix, and finally Inferno. This is volume 3 or book 3 in the Nero trilogy by Con Igalden. So that should be 10 books that I recommend, and maybe you can take a look at it for yourself. I just finished Australian author Trent Dalton's Gravity Let Me Go. A bit of a disappointment. I mean, it's not a bad... It's funny, the chunks that are interesting are more the underlying, this is sort of around a crime. Those parts are really well done, but it's very, very sentimental. You know, I really struggled to finish it, and the one reason I did finish it is because I wanted to find, you know, who done it. And I think I've read all of Dalton's work. I think there's one I haven't read, which I had they don't list it in here. But I think, hold on, here it is. I never read the love stories, but I've read all our Shimmering Skies, Boy Swallows Universe, Run Lola Run, Lola in the Mirror, Run Lola Run, Lola in the Mirror, which is his previous book, and this is his next one, Gravity Let Me Go. Too sentimental for me, though with some great crime thriller aspects to it, which kind of carried me through towards the end. And anyway, again, whenever I pick an author that I struggle with, I try and keep up with their latest stuff to see where they're going. And as I said before, Joe Hill Horns, I'm almost finished. Oh, now about halfway. That's great. That's a wacky book, this one. So I'm all for it. All right, thanks for tuning in, and I'll be back next week or whenever I can to make another video, and I hope you can get to see and read some of these titles. All right, thanks for coming. Keep reading, keep going, buying books, keep going to the library, stay secondhand bookshops. We love it. Read, buy books, read.